Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on what time zone you're in or what time you're watching this video. Today we've actually got a bit of a different type of video for you. Normally we do Harry Mack on Fridays, but today we're doing Ed Sheeran. He released a new song called F64, and I've heard the song, but I've not watched the video. And before we get into the video, I want you to know that the theme is a little bit heavy in this video. The theme is about loss, and loss can be extremely tough. The feelings, the emotions associated with loss are dark and difficult, and sometimes we just can't manage them on our own. And so, before this all gets started, I just wanted to say that if you're someone who is dealing with loss or any kind of hardship, and you need someone to talk to, I am always here to try and help you wherever I can, or just to talk things through, because that's what we're all here for. We're here to go through this experience together as humans, and no one should have to deal with anything on their own. So if you're someone who needs a little bit of either just an ear to listen or someone to talk things through with, please feel free to reach out, and I will definitely do that. But without further ado, let's get into the song. Right out the gate, it starts off with kind of that energy, that big energy that Ed Sheeran had when he did a live version of "You Need Me, I Don't Need You" for SBTV. And if you don't know what SBTV is, it's actually a company founded by one of his close friends who passed away, and who this song is actually about. But what they did stylistically there was they took kind of that energy, showing where it all started, and then brought us to where we are now, which is at this moment in Ed Sheeran's life where he's facing this difficult loss. And you can see the change in even tempo of the music, type of music, to what we're seeing now, where we've slowed things down. There's just these small sounds. It's almost like we're trying to kind of not dilute, try to just get it down to the bare bones of the song, just to bring us in to this new energy. I think that's a great choice for this video, honestly. Just him with candles like a vigil. This is beautiful.
Hey, yo, Jam, this is a letter to you. It's been a while, but it's been hard for me to get in the booth. Since we last spoke, I've become a father of two. Trying to live life with a smile, but that's been harder to do. Cause all I...
That opening bar, he starts this off as a letter to the individual who passed away. His name was Jamal. So he says, "Yo, Jan, this is a letter to you." And this is something that is, I think everyone should do, when, especially if you're having trouble with losing someone. Partly in my idea of death, I think that their energy is still with us. So it's never a bad idea to reach out, just like write a letter to them, what you would have said to them, or just say out loud what you would have said to them. And this is Ed Sheeran's way of doing that. He knows how to do this best through music, and that's what he's giving us now. But he already said, like, he hasn't really stepped in the booth since the loss, because it's so hard to go into and try to energize with new songs and new ideas when there's this big, like, almost like weight on your shoulders. And so he even says it's been hard to step in the booth. And since then he's become a father of two, which he probably would have loved to share with his friend Jamal.
wanna do is talk about you, but these tears won't let me talk about you. We should have known that we'd be lost without you.
That is heavy. All I want to do is talk about you, but these tears won't let me talk about you. I know that feeling. You try to kind of, you want to talk about someone, even the positive things that you've experienced with someone, and like as soon as you do, you start to choke up. It still happens to me sometimes, with, especially when I talk about my grandmother. It's really like I'll try to bring up certain topics and I'll just find myself kind of start tearing up, and I have to look away. I have to kind of change the topic of conversation because I can't. If I continue, I'll just start crying, and that's what he's kind of, what a beautiful way to sum that up.
Let's talk about you, but these tears won't let me talk about you. We should have known that we'd be lost without you. Therapy sessions, digging deep in depression. I got a life full of blessings, but this just breaks my fucking heart. At your birthday, couldn't even crack a smile. I just cried and left. left the party niche, I'll see you in a while. Headed to the mural, got some jerk wins and planting, cause that is the way that me and you would celebrate it. I never.
That's beautiful. It's like after you've lost that person, like it's hard to enjoy life, even though there's so many blessings in your life and there's so many positives. The weight of the negatives can almost overshadow those, especially depending on the intensity of those negatives. And a loss is just so hard and heavy. And I think he's kind of explaining this process beautifully, and we're going through his journey with him, which is honestly so hard to put down on paper and so difficult because he's basically exposing his soul to us right now, which is so hard to do, especially when it's vulnerable, which it is right now, and you can hear it in his vocal tone too. But he mentions that he's now going to all the places that he used to go to with his friend Jamal before he passed away, because those memories, they're still close to him, and that's where he finds kind of part of his spirit, is where they used to spend time. Amazing.
To the mural, got some jerk wins and planting, cause that is the way that me and you would celebrate it. I never knew you touched the stuff, cause you'd always bad me up. If you saw me more than drunk, you always hated what it does. Before Lyra, I just stopped, I haven't even wanted one. I can't get over this, is fucked, man, I wish I'd known. And yo, we cried for 9.
The fact that he says this is fucked, like it's so not on brand for Ed Sheeran to just make that part of the rhyme, but you can almost feel it actually makes the feel of that so much more intense, because he just straight up cuts off the bar to just be like, this is fucked, because the loss is so hard. There's not really words to express it. It's just you're angry, and one of the ones that comes to mind is just cursing, just swearing, and that's kind of where he's going with that. And it's the loss, right? It's you feel almost lost when you have a loss, and jeez, man, this is
I haven't even wanted one. I can't get over this, is fucked, man, I wish I'd known. And yo, we cried for 9 nights at your family home, laid you to rest in the ground but without a stone. You know it hits me most of moments now when I'm alone. Every morning I remember that you're really gone, cause
I think I just heard one thing I just want to add. He just tapped his chest, and I think this is a live recording. It's like this is gonna be all one take, I'm sure, something that he's known for, but something that he mentions is hard. It's hardest when you wake up, and it's that feeling of like when you go to sleep, right? Sometimes that's the last thing you think about, is the hardships that you're facing, and then when you go to sleep, it's almost like they don't exist anymore. And every morning kind of just starts to feel like a refresher of that feeling. It's almost like you wake up like, oh, what is there to worry about, right? And then all of a sudden it hits you, and it's almost like it's a new feeling, even though you've been dealing with it for so long. And that's one of the most intense sadnesses that you can kind of face when you're dealing with stuff like this.
know it hits me most of moments now when I'm alone. Every morning I remember that you're really gone, cause it's been a long night and I cry cause I miss my brother. You know for life got your sis and mother, and day and night it still hits that you're gone. And right now I'm spilling tears in my cup. You left the world before you met Jupiter. We should've known you would be godfather. You would've loved loving my little girls. If not for them, I'd be done with the world. Was there to
God damn, man, this is rough. Jupiter is actually his youngest daughter's name, and he's basically saying he would have loved to see them interact with Jamal, because Jamal was such an important part of his life, and he would have loved to see them kind of just spend time together. Sorry. And you can just feel the pain, and the way this video is shot. I love the Jamal in the background, because it really shows you that, like, it's almost giving us, like, see how Ed Sheeran's wearing blue and the stadium itself is blue. It's like no matter what, Ed Sheeran's got him on his mind or in his heart and across his chest, quite literally, because it's like we've got shots of it really quite literally behind him, so it's always there, right? The thought is always there. Really, really well done.
Would have loved loving my little girls. If not for them, I'd be done with the world.
And, just the idea of that, like, you'd be done with the world if it weren't for them. Just one, it speaks volumes about the love he has for his children, but it also speaks volumes about the hard knock truth of loss and the effect that it's had on him. That if it wasn't for them, he'd just be done. Right. And sometimes that's what it takes. And not that that's a bad thing. Sometimes just having those things is valuable, right? Because otherwise he might quite literally be done with the world. He might, some people, this ends in suicide. And that's why it's important to talk about this kind of stuff. It's important to talk about your pain and your sorrows, because it's not worth the alternative of where you keep it inside and it just bottles up and overflows in ways that it shouldn't have done in the first place, but you just didn't know what else to do, and that happens. And I, like I said before, if there's anyone out there experiencing this kind of pain and you don't have anyone else to reach out to, even if you do have anyone else to reach out to, please feel free to reach out to me. I will do whatever I can to try and help as best I can.
Was there 2 hours after you passed, speeding east to west, silent in the back of the car? Was it your mum's there all week, trying to make sense, but I can't? And although it's been a year, still feel the pain in my heart, cause you were there from the start. The day we met, yeah, I moved in and we were never apart. People assumed that we were lovers, but we're brothers in arms. Symbiotic bond of love and gave each other a chance. My God.
Symbiotic bond of love. Symbiotic means like two organisms that like almost rely on each other. And that's what he's saying is like they were these two hearts, these two people that put so much faith in each other that their love kind of helped amplify their existence. But he goes even further, saying people used to call us lovers, even though we're brothers in arms. And you know what? That's like straight up the best kind of friendship. That's the best kind of strength that you can get from someone, where it's like you care about each other so much, people confuse you for lovers, even if it's not like that, because damn, we need to share love and share positivity in that way all the time. So like it just helps to make life feel good. You know what I mean? And I can think of people off the top of my head that I have this kind of relationship with, and I'm so glad they're in my life. And that makes me think even more about how much difficulty I'd have if something was to happen to them. Ed Sheeran, like, he had been releasing a lot of stuff that was based around love, but like romantic love, and especially his last album, a lot of the focus was on that. And this is a very different kind of divergence from that, almost like back to old school Ed Sheeran. Not that he, like, honestly, it's whatever is happening for him at the time. I think he should put down on paper, because that's the artist that he is. He puts down himself on the paper, and so what he goes through, he tries to kind of share. And if love was what he was going through, but this is kind of like a nice change in pace, even though it's born out of such a dark moment in his life. And I hope that he's okay. I hope that he has the people that he needs to kind of pull him through this, because everyone deserves it.
Brothers in arms, symbiotic bond of love and gave each other a chance. My God, fuck's sake. Lately I've been crying so much my lungs ache. Teardrops all over my shirt like blood stains. And I know to heal a heart it must break, but I'm done praying. They gave me a shovel.
To heal a heart, it's gotta break. And it's true. And honestly, like, the pain that we feel when we lose someone, it's proof that we loved them to begin with, and it's proof of the connection that we had to that person. And so this like really reaches deep into the emotions that are mixed into kind of just the experience of loss. And I just he's written this so well. Like, this is so beautiful, hauntingly beautiful. And it, like, as someone who deals with this on the daily, like, this is just, he's almost writing my experience out. And that's the power that Ed Sheeran's pen has, is he's able to really convey the human experience through words and through even music, because even the way that the music is written in this, you can feel like the sorrow, but there's like an overarching, like, it's gonna be okay feel to it.
And I know to heal a heart it must break, but I'm done praying. They gave me a shovel at your burial, and watching you get lowered is something I can't forget at all. And people find and stop me in the street and say it's terrible, but they don't know you like I knew you, and they never will. No one saw.
He actually mentions here, like, the moment watching him kind of be lowered, that's a moment that's almost like burned into his mind. And I have a similar experience, in the sense that, like, there's moments that you share with someone just before they pass, where it's, or even after they've passed, where it's like you can't lose that image. It's always there. But honestly, and as much as it feels like it makes life hard, it also really, really speaks volumes about the love that you shared, that moment is so important to you, because the loss made an impact, but that impact is born out of the connection that you had with that person.
All the nights turned into day when we were battle rapping. No one saw the belly laughs and every train to somewhere random. No one saw the holidays and then our first experience clubbing. No one saw the things you did for me and never asked for nothing. No one read the conversations, moves that we were planning. No one knew about the way you felt the scene left you abandoned. No one knew about your fears because you would hide them with a smile. No one knew when people took an inch you would give them a mile.
Okay, so many things going down in that verse. One of the big things you can see is that theme of like his friend Jamal, his brother Jamal. Like he had a golden heart, right? He give when people take an inch, or when you're giving an inch, people take a mile, but he didn't complain because that's the kind of person that he was. And just the overall idea that his life has become something so positive, this force for positive change, because he basically transformed a number of people's lives, and that kind of changed the way even Ed Sheeran was brought into the game. That had a huge impact, because Ed Sheeran wouldn't have necessarily gotten to the level that he's at now unless he had been on SBTV, and he words this so beautifully, like kind of just exemplifying how that actually changed his life, and how, but then also bringing it, tying it into the moments that are personal, saying like you had these things you were dealing with, but you never let anyone else deal kind of into them because of how much you wanted to protect others. And I gotta say, like, as amazing as that can be and as helpful as that can be, if you are dealing with something, please don't try to keep it to yourself. It makes it so much harder, and there are definitely people out there that are willing to give you their support and give you their love, and sometimes that's all we need. But who am I to say?
No one knew about your fears because you would hide them with a smile. No one knew when people took an inch you would give them a mile, because that was always Jamal. SB to the crowd, they used to shout your net worth but they don't mention it now. They talk about your good deeds and infectious smile. A golden heart that still remembered is worth more than a crown.
Ain't that the goddamn truth? A golden heart that's remembered is worth more than a crown. Ain't that the truth? Because honestly, at the end of the day, no one cares about how much money you have. No one cares about your net worth, which is what he's saying right here. At the end of the day, it's what kind of person were you? You know what I mean? How did people feel when you were around? Because it's the impact that you make on others that survives. We don't, our money, our wealth, it doesn't go anywhere once we're gone. It doesn't mean anything once we're gone. You could be the richest person in the world. People might remember you for that, but it doesn't mean they remember you for a good reason. And this is like having a good heart, a golden heart, one that people remember as being kind, being giving, being caring. That's what really sticks. And then those are the lessons that you kind of pass on to other people, saying this is the way that you should kind of be. Try to be the best that you can. Now, not always saying that you can always be giving, always be caring, always be kind. There are always going to be moments where it's impossible to do that. Maybe you're going through stuff that makes it difficult for you to be happy, and then it's hard to kind of try to boost others. But at the end of the day, overall, try your best to kind of give your best and be your best, and just be kind. If anything, be nice, be someone who's worth talking about, and for the reasons of love, for the reasons of positivity, for the reasons of giving. Like that is such a good line. Holy smokes.
Talk about your good deeds and infectious smile. A golden heart that still remembered is worth more than a crown. I promised 64 bars and now I'll keep it to Tanisha. Mommy, eyes at the gang. I just wish that you'd seen it. I can't accept that you're gone, or the grief that I'm feeling. I pray to God for answers, but he still won't give me a reason. I think about,
pray to God for some answers, but he still won't give me any reasons. And sometimes you don't get a reason. Sometimes there isn't even a reason, right? I mean, I am honestly not very religious myself, but sometimes loss is just loss, and you try to search for answers as to why, but there's not always a clear-cut reason, right? I mean, it's as simple as someone got older, someone's body stopped working, or there's other reasons. I think there's just so much to life, but it's so hard when you're trying to look for answers, and it's like you're kind of like praying for answers and just nothing's coming. You almost feel like, what was it worth? What was it for? That kind of idea, and it settles in, but you can't succumb to that kind of thinking, because what was it worth? What was it all for? Well, think about this now. now he's immortalized, right? Jamal is immortalized. People know him all around the world as being someone positive, being someone giving. And Ed Sheeran went so far as to put this song, make a song about his brother, about this individual he lost. It's like a love letter to those that are gone, and it's just beautiful. My God. And just watching Ed's mannerisms, you can see like he's just giving it his all here. He's just putting his heart on the line and saying, "Take a look. This is exactly what I'm feeling right now."
Accept that you're gone, or the grief that I'm feeling. I pray to God for answers, but you still won't give me a reason. I think about you every day. Nothing will take this pain away. I keep your legacy amazing, mate. The conversations at your grave's the only way to be close. I know you'll greet me with a smile on the day that I go, 'cause
he's the one who's going to continue his legacy, right? And it's not just like the idea of SBTV, it's the idea of the person, right? I always like to say that we are like we survive in the lessons that we teach or in the lives that we've touched. And I think that's what we're seeing here, and that's what Ed Sheeran realizes too, is that even though he's gone, he still survives. His legacy survives because like until people stop remembering you, you're still alive in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not your physical body, but truly your spirit is still a part of them, and that's what's carried on. And this is just so beautiful. My God. And yet you can like feel the pain. Jeez.
Conversations at your grave's the only way to be close. I know you'll greet me with a smile on the day that I go, 'cause it's been a long night and I cry 'cause I miss my brother. You know for life got your sister mother. You know I cry 'cause I miss my brother. My brother was SBTV.
He's covering his face. I can't even imagine how hard it would be to do this whole song, especially when you know you're experiencing pain on the loss, knowing that you're kind of making yourself open to with vulnerability to show the world the kind of person that Jamal was. And you're almost doing this for him at this point, right? It's partly for yourself, but mostly for him. I can't even imagine trying to sing a song about that loss because it's just so hard. But one of the cool things that he did there is the SBTV, they have kind of like every time before a song plays, even if you go back and watch the start of this video, it goes SBTV, and he takes that and kind of puts it in the song because really that sound is almost the idea birthed out of Jamal, which is like it's his child almost. It's his idea. It's his it's almost like his signature now. And so he adds it to this song saying that my brother is SBTV because that's he gave birth to SBTV and helped it become what it is now. And that's just it's the equivalent of a child. It's like anyone who owns a business, when they kind of start to put a lot into that business, put their heart and soul into that business and watch it grow. It's like watching your child grow. It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of the same vein of ideas of you helped bring this to life and then you helped nurture it to get to where it is now. But on top of that, that's what people knew Jamal for, was SBTV, right? And so there's just so many layers to this song. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's probably exactly what I'd be saying after I finish a song like that. You can hear how difficult that was. Like, he had to turn. I'm sure he started crying at the end of that, right when that song finished, just because of how much effort it takes not to do that while you're singing the song, while you're connecting your heart to that song, which is connected to that person who you've lost. My God, like, it's just I get nervous just thinking about that. I feel the pain just thinking about that. And honestly, shout out to Ed. I hope you're doing okay. I hope the family of Jamal is doing okay. I know he had a sister and a mother, and actually I heard Ed Sheeran spend some time there after Jamal had passed, just making sure they were okay. So just like kudos to the spirit of Ed Sheeran in this sense, like just the sense that he has of humanity and paying it forward and making sure the people around you are okay. We all need to make sure the people around us are okay. A lot of the time when you say like, "Hey, how's it going?" people are just like, "Hey, yeah, I'm fine. How are you?" Right? Yeah, sometimes it's okay to say you're not fine. It's okay to reach out to people and say, "You know what? I'm not doing well." And people will often hide that they're not doing well. So it's also partly up to us that to make sure that those people who maybe aren't necessarily able to explain how they're feeling are still taken care of. Like, geez, like it's so important to be human, man. It's so important to just share this experience, this human experience with other people, and that's what it's all about, in my opinion. Man, I just, this is a bit of a heavy song, but I think it's important, right? This kind of stuff is important. It's important to not always be on the hype train or thinking about like the fun in life, right? Because that's not what life is always going to be like. Sometimes life's going to be difficult, and it's in those moments that we find the true strength that we have to carry on, or we find it in others if we need to. And damn, if there's anyone out there who like you feel like you need to reach out to someone, like I said, I keep saying it, but you have no idea how important this is to me. Like I hope that you're doing okay. I hope that we're all doing okay. I hope that we're able to spread love whenever we can and spread positivity whenever we can, or just help someone deal with negativity whenever we can, because that's what it's all about. It's the human experience. Man, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, or whatever, anything. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered just because I hope that you are all doing awesome. And if you're not, I hope that this is just a bump in the road. And regardless, I love you. I love you all. You have people in your corner, and always remember that. Um, I'll see you on the next one.